There is one big misconception that nearly everyone has about America before European colonization, and that's this idea that the country was this untouched wilderness, practically free of any human influence. In reality, the Native Americans painstakingly manicured the land to be as bountiful as possible. It may not have looked to Europeans like a domesticated country, but we are still dealing with the consequences of that oversight today. Fire was the primary tool that the Indians used to control nature. The first reports of Native people show widespread use of fire by a multitude of tribes. This was done over thousands of years, and it made the landscape look a lot different than it does today. The first Europeans on the East Coast reported forests that looked like English parks because the trees had practically no underbrush. One guy said the trees were spaced so far apart that the forest could have been penetrated by a large army. But now when you go into the forest, you'll often see a thick layer of underbrush. This isn't bad per se, but it did inhibit a lot of activity that made life easier for the natives. For example, by clearing out smaller vegetation, game animals like deer are able to flourish. The American bison actually used to live in a lot of areas that are now considered forested. This was only possible because of cultural burning practices. The Native Americans actually extended the boundaries of the Great Plains by burning, creating a huge hunting ground for themselves. The burning also increased the productivity of beneficial plants like blueberries, oak, and chestnut trees. This was such a widespread practice that the Indians reportedly carried flints with them to set fires everywhere they went. So unsurprisingly, America looks a lot different than it did a couple hundred years ago. One of the main consequences of the disappearance of cultural burning is that wildfires can cause a lot more damage than they used to. This is because there is a lot more fuel on the ground to burn. We're just now feeling the impacts of that, but that's all for now. I'm going through all of American history in chronological order. This has been day 5 of the entire history of America.